Alright, welcome back to this full Excel eSports course. We're on the final video in the game cases chapter, and this is just going to be example solves. So I've picked one case and I'm going to solve it because I think it shows most of the concepts that we've spoken about. There's more to come, so we'll go into a map chapter next, everything about maps, and then kind of a programming chapter. So subscribe and turn notifications on if you want to see all of that stuff. So the case I've chosen to solve is pinball. Now this was a very hard case, but if you follow all the best practices that we talked about in the previous videos, then I think it will actually look quite easy. I've also chosen it because everybody can kind of understand pinball. We hit a number of bumps, a number of things, and those things give us points. So here's the things we hit, here's the points we get. Now some of them, these ones, are just giving you points, and other ones are turning kind of effects on and off. So blue here just give you the points, nothing more to it. Then we have two linked things here. One of them turns something called acceleration on, and another hit turns it off, so we have a switch to deal with. We also have the concept of lives, which is not something we've covered, so it'd be nice to cover that. So if we hit this number 4 here, we gain a life. If we hit the number 10, we lose a life, or completely end the game if we have no lives left. In the final question, another player is introduced as well, which complicates things. We touched on that in the last video, so it'd be nice to show you implementing it in a live situation. So let's get to it. So with a game case like this, you should immediately be thinking about doing a model, because you can anticipate that it's going to get quite complicated, and having everything laid out is going to make it easier to debug if you go wrong. And if we run into any problems here, I'll show you the debugging process as well. So let's just set up a data table for the first question, and I'm not going to go into details about how to do that because I've shown it in many videos in this course already. And because we have a game case, we want to kind of lay everything out in as full a detail as possible. So let's say turn, hit, and points. So the first question is just asking us how many points we get up until we go bust. So our hit is going to be 2col of this, and our turn, we can say sequence of count A of all of this stuff. That means our turn and hits are going to be dynamic if the number of bumps change in the question. Our points is just going to be x lookup what we hit in our table up at the top to tell us how many points things are worth. So let's just do that. Now one thing we need to know is where we go bust, so where we hit a 10, that's our bust flag. So we're going to add in a column to say bust, and the flag for that is whether this equals a 10. So that will give us trues and falses for where we go bust. I prefer to see it as ones and zeros, so I'm just going to put minus minus and do it in brackets. And then just to make it more visually attractive, I'll press Control 1, I'll come to custom and quickly change it to a dash where it's a 0, just so it's easier to see those flags for you. Now let's do total points, which is kind of our cumulative, and that's going to be starting with what we got on the first turn and then adding all of the next points that we get. So the first question is just how many points do we get up to where we go bust. So we can see it's 175, and that matches the example. So I know I'm going to have to deal with lives later on in this table, so I think I'm just going to put lives here, because I know I'll need a column for it at some point anyway, so I might as well build it now. And we know we start with 1 life, and then it's going to be that minus whether we went bust. So if I do that, you'll see when we hit this 1, we lose our lives here. Now we see one problem already, we're going into negative lives. We don't want to do that because in a longer model, we might go up to 1 and then 2 and 0. And if we want to X match on this column, we don't want to pick up anything down here. We always want to make sure it's clean. So let's change it to say it's the maximum of 0 and that. So that's one way to cap it off, but I also want to be careful that I don't pick up more lives later because the lives could then increase again. So a better way to do this type of thing is to just look at the last turn. So if we've ran out of lives before, so if the thing above is a 0, then we want it to remain as a 0, otherwise give us that calculation. So that's the best way to do it in this type of situation. Now I can also adjust my total points to say if the lives equals 0, then it's whatever it was above, otherwise it's what we had before. So with these game type models, you generally use quite a lot of ifs. So now that we've hit, 0 lives, we just give us what we had before and drag that down. So the answer is going to be the final number in this list. So let's data table that. The first question actually only has 10 levels, so I just need the first 10 from my data table here. That's just my macro setup of a data table, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Now level 2, we can have kind of the unique mechanic of this case. So this is not something we could have covered in any of the other concept videos, and every case is going to generally have something unique that you're going to have to figure out on the fly. So what we're doing here is introducing a combo effect where when you hit the first bump, you get the points. When you hit the second bump, you take the last 2 things you hit and multiply them together. And when you hit the third bump, you take the last 3 things you hit and multiply them together. You can never go above 3 on your combo, so you're then stuck at taking the last 3 things and doing the product, unless you hit a bust. So let's add the effect of that combo in. So let's call it combo, and we're always going to start at 1, and the combo is essentially going to be that number plus 1, but we want to cap it off at 3. So let's say minimum of 3 and that value. However, we do need to adjust for where we go bust. So I'm just going to turn this to example 2 now, and we're going to go from question number 11. So there's only 3 things here just to introduce us to the combo. There's actually no busts here, but we're going to have to build it in for later anyway, so let's think about it now. So I'm just going to move the base points back over to what we hit, because I think it's cleaner to have all of this base data together, and then I'm going to do all my effects out here. So we have bust, combo, lives, and total points. So now we want to get the combo points. And the combo points is essentially going to be the product of the last 1, 2, or 3 things in our points table. So if I just make this bigger for a second, so if I use take, I can specify an array, and then I can say take 3 things from that array. It's going to give me the first 3 rows. But you can put a minus here to take the last 3 as well. So then I take the last 3. So what I want to do here, if I use this third one as an example, I want to say take from this array, we want to go to F8, and I want to take minus whatever our combo is. Then I want to come in here and just lock the first cell of that table. So as I drag it down with my model, this kind of column gets dragged down, but I always take the last 3. So if I show you that, it's going to give me the last 3 things, and then I want to do the product of them, but exclude any zeros. So to get rid of zeros, a trick you can do is filter something on itself. It's only one I learned yesterday, I think. And because the filter takes an array and then trues or falses, because these are numbers, it will give me trues for anything above 0 and false for any zeros. So that will just get rid of the zeros, and then I can do the product formula to multiply them all together. So that's our combo points. However, there's one issue, and that's that on this one, where we get 0 points, we want to keep this as a 0. So let's make one amendment to say if that equals 0, do 0, otherwise give us our product points. So let's do that, and then we should be good for that question. Now let's make sure our total points is running off of the combo points column. So we want to move our total points to the combo points, and the lives is still going to be in effect. So that should be all of our answers for question 2. However, there's one thing that we haven't implemented, and that's the effect of going bust, what that does to the combo. So I'm going to say if we went bust on the last turn, then our combo must reset to 0. Otherwise it's going to be what we had before. So let's add that amendment in just for the later levels. And there we go. Now let's go to example 3, and that's going to run from question 31 onwards. So example 3 adds this concept of lives. So if we hit a number 4, we gain a life, and if we hit number 10, we lose a life. So we've already built in the logic of if we go bust, we lose a life. Now to stick with our methodology of laying things out in full, let's put extra life, and that's going to be, does the hit equal a 4? That's an extra life. Let's just check it's a 4. 4 is an extra ball, yes. So again, let's do minus minus and put it in brackets. So we can see where we get extra lives, and now this lives is going to be that plus did we get an extra life on the last turn, which is here. And let's pull all of our model down. So you can see we had 1 life, we got an extra 1 here, so from the next turn onwards we have 2 lives, so on and so on. We hit a loss life here, so we have 1 life, and then we hit another loss here, so we have no lives, and then our points kind of stops because we lost a life. We also need to pull our combo points down, and then that should be our answer for question 3. I can see already that I have a problem, so let's just debug what's going on. So the only thing I added with the lives, I did it quite simply, but I can see that I'm pulling off of this cell here now. So all I need to do is change that to be the last cell, then hopefully we're fixed. That's a silly mistake, and we are fixed. So our logic was correct, we were just pulling the wrong cell for our data table. So there's only 5 levels to this case, so we're getting through it pretty quickly. And if I just take a second to look at the formulas in here, nothing is overly complicated. It's best to look at row 2 because that's where kind of the real logic starts from. If you look at the size of the formulas, the combo is the most complicated thing, but everything else is actually just very simple formulas. And that's the benefit of doing this big, long model layout here. I guess one thing to mention now at this point as well is your first table, you may have noticed already, but your first row in the table, sorry, is normally quite standalone because that sets up the rest of the model to run off of it. So these are hard coded, you know, my combo is 1 from the start, my lives are 1 before we start doing any amendments because of, you know, the mechanics of the case. So let's go example 4. Now we need to add in acceleration. So 2 gives us acceleration and 3 turns it off. So let's add acceleration next to the combo because the acceleration is going to affect the combo. So acceleration, and we just want a flag 1 if it's on, 0 if it's off. So at first it's always going to be off. And then this is just a switch. We went over how to deal with this in the last video. So the way we did it was to say we'll do an if condition if it's on. So if this is on, then what turns it off? So it's going to be that minus what turns it off. What turns it off is if that equals a 3. And we'll put that in brackets there to turn trues, falses to 1s and 0s. So if we're in the other case, if we're false, it means acceleration is off, so it's a 0. So what turns it on? We want that plus whether this equals a 2, because a 2 turns it on. So if I just do that logic, then you'll see that we get a 1 when acceleration's on and a 0 where it's off. And what acceleration does in this case, it just adds 1 to the combo value. So what I can do is I've already set up if we're bust, then it resets to a 1. But if we're not bust, it's going to be what we had before plus the acceleration value. So you'll see that acceleration can now creep up to 4 instead of 3. And if I change that to 51, that should be all we need to do to get the answers. We can see we're matching the example, 472 100. So let's put that in. And we get an error. So let's go into debugging mode. Let's look at 51 to try and figure out what's going wrong. And in a real situation, I would actually get the answers wrong here because I only have the example to go off. Normally when you're in a live case, they'll give you hints for the first 3 questions, say it's between a number, so you can do some debugging. So if I had that, then I would be able to actually debug a little bit here. So let's have a look. So we know we matched all the other questions, and all we've added is this acceleration and the combo. So the problem must be with one of those columns. So I can see here, I went bust, so my acceleration is set to a 1 because I went bust on the last turn, but I can see this is jumping up to a 3 instead of a 2. And that's because I'm just adding the acceleration here. So what I've forgot is that going bust turns off acceleration. So I should amend my acceleration to say if we went bust in the last turn, then acceleration is off, otherwise give me what we had before. So this is typical in a game case, that each kind of column will affect each other. When you add something in, you need to remember both what it affects. So I remembered that. I remembered that acceleration affects the combo, but I didn't think about what affects acceleration. And that is that going bust turns acceleration off. So if I'm correct, now we will have all of the right answers there. And if you got this far in the real thing, within half an hour, you would be doing awesome. That's a very good score. And again, these formulas, while they have lots of ifs, where you build it up bit by bit, is not actually overly complicated. Now level 5 is exactly the same, but we're adding another player who have their own lives. So let's go example 5, and let's go 71. And now let's amend our model. So we need a player number here, so let's put player, and we know that player 1 is going to start. So let's just do a list like we showed in the last video of how to swap players over. So 1 will swap to 2 and 2 will swap to 1. So let's build the logic. Let's say if we went bust on the last turn, then the player is going to swap. So X look up player 1 in here and give us player 2, or the next player, should we say. Otherwise, we didn't go bust, so the player is still the player that was there before. So if we pull that down, we'll see that whenever a bust happens here, we swap to player 2 goes bust, and so on. Now we also need to have 2 sets of lives, one for player 1 and one for player 2. So let's just add that in. Lives P1, and then lives P2. And we spoke about this in the last video. They both start with 1 life, and then all you need to do is exactly the same formula. So I'm going to add the same formula here, but I'm going to change it to say if this equals 1, then it's the calculation. and if it's not player 1, it's whatever we had before. So now you'll see that player 1 has their lives there, and then we can add the same thing for player 2. So if this is player 2, we'll do what we had before, otherwise carry over their lives from last time. So let's just check it looks right. So player 1 hits a 4, so they get an extra life. They go bust here, so they lose a life and go down to 1 life. So checking it is always good, because I can see I made a mistake here. This should actually be 1 row up, so we want to do it like that. So let's just amend that there, and this should be here. So now let's do another check. We're player 1 up to here. They gained 1 life, so they should go to 2 lives, but then they lost a life here, so it should swap to player 2, and they should only have 1 life. Player 2 has 1 life, they hit a bust, they lose their life, and it goes back to player 1. Now, on the turns, so I want to check if the opposite player is bust, because if they are, we're not going to swap to them, we're going to keep going till our lives are gone. That's written in the rules of the case. So if the other player, so how do we get the other player? Let's do our whole XLOOKUP that in here, give there. So if the other player, and how do we grab their lives? So we now have a 1 or 2, which is the opposite player. So we could say index their lives from before on that number, so it will pull their lives. So if that equals 0, i.e. they have no lives, then the same player stays on. Otherwise, what we had before. And then the very last thing to do is split the points for player 1 and 2. So let's do P1 points and P2 points. And we can see that this column is already running off of player 1's lives, but we need to make sure we're only adding player 1's points. So we're going to say if this equals 1, give us that. Otherwise, give us what we had before. So now where player 2 is playing, we should stop the points. And then player 2 points is going to be 0 at the start, because it's always player 1 that starts. And then we can do this calculation here to just change this to a 2. So if the player is 2, then we're going to take the combo points plus what they had before. So we just need to move this across. And that should be player 2's points. So now the answer should just be who wins is the max of both of their points at the end. And hopefully, if all is well, then that's the right answers, which it's not. So let's try and debug this. Let's check question 75, because I can see I'm getting 0. So 75, we have player 1 hits a 10, so they're bust. So we should always be player 2 at this point. And our lives for player 2 do not look correct. And I can see that I have something referencing player 1 still, so I imagine I just need to pull that over to make that work. And now let's give that another go. Now we're getting closer, but our player 2 points are still showing as 0. I can see I have something referencing player 1 lives, so let's move that across, drag it down, and then hopefully this is the final fix we need to do. So a bit of debugging there. That looks like it's all correct, except our questions go down to 100. So let's just take that data table out to confirm a full solve, and then Alt-DT for data table, and paste those answers in. And there we go, that's a full solve. So a very tricky case, but as you can see, formulas, when you do it this way and spill everything out fully, are not actually overly complicated. So that's it. Next chapter will be all about maps. So I'll see you next time.